Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Things Politics. Let's get right to it. The LAPD moves to expand its drone fleet. Also, the LA Police Commission has approved a $2.1 million fund for LAPD's drone program. I think that the issue with this will be one or will become one of privacy concerns, certain amendment rights, things of that nature. The LAPD is trying to assure the community that these drones will only be used in cases of 911 calls, or these drones will be used to go to a location before the vehicle unit, the ground unit, arrives to survey the place or whatnot. Uh, the issue, though, is about privacy, and not only that, but it can be. You could guess, or you could say that they will use these drones clandestinely. They will use them without our knowledge. Somehow, some way, these drones will be out and about, and the people will not know just exactly where they are or why they're there. um, Programs like this tend to do that sort of thing. They'll say, okay, we're bringing this in for this reason and this reason alone, while all the while they're behind the scenes say, okay, how can we incorporate now in other areas or matters. This is one of the things, again, the American citizen, especially those in California, are used to when they say, hey, this program will only be about this issue. Point in case, um, the three strikes law. This law came about because of the murder of a young girl. It's supposed to have only addressed those serious offenders, those serious violent offenders, concerning, child rape, murder, things of that nature. However, the program ended up expanding to the point where it ended up affecting low level criminals, theft, burglary, things of that nature. And before you knew it, there was a population of a lot of young black men in general, who were falling under the three strikes law, being served with 25 years to life in prison for petty crimes. That example can be used, I think, in terms of what they're talking about with this new drone fleet that the LAPD is about to roll out. They say, okay, it will only be used for A, B, and C. Initially, 911 calls. Not only that, they say we have in place a system where you, the citizen, can go and track how we use these drones. And I think that's just subterfuge. That's just something to right now appease the people, to make them feel comfortable, okay with, okay, there are drones in the sky, and they'll only do what they said they'll do. They won't go beyond that. That's not how the LAPD works, that's for sure. To assist me in this piece, I have a clip from CBS News, courtesy of CBS News. We like to point out that this is CBS's news material or content. We're going to apply it to this under the Free Use Act. Okay, give me a second. This is CBS News.
Today, the LA Police Commission voting to approve a big advancement in the LAPD's drone program, adding docking stations around the city.
That's right. And our assignment editor, Mike Rogers, is at the desk with the advancements to the program that is already in place.
Yeah, so this is called.
Did you hear that? It's already in place. So it would stand to reason that it has already been in place. In fact, it's probably already been used without our knowledge. Again, this could be considered a violation of our amendment rights, our First Amendment rights. These drones will be used specifically for surveillance, for violation, of our privacy, I think. Already in use.
Called in LA, it's called the DRONEW First Responders Program. And essentially, it has drones responding to 911 calls to get there ahead of officers to be able to get eyes on the scene to provide officer safety. Well, today, the LA Police Commission approved a new donation by the LA Police Foundation for 2 new drones and new docking stations. I want to show you a promotional video by the company that's putting this all together. Skydio is what it's called. They provide this for law enforcement agencies around the country. And there are these big docking stations. Las Vegas Metro just did these as well, that essentially can be placed around the city, and law enforcement can launch the drone from a central command center, so wherever they choose that to be, if that's at their communications center or a specific police station. Now, here specifically in the LA area, they approved the donation of 2 new drones and several of these docking stations that would go both on police stations throughout the city, as well as several private locations that have, apparently they have become in a partnership.
Well, they approve or giving them 2 new drones. How many do they have altogether? And see, this is something that the people should be, this is information the people should be privy to. So you're, in addition to drones you already have, you added 2 more. How many drones are in this drone fleet is the question, or should be, given in terms of what that number is to the people, to the public. Just to have these drones, and you're accumulating these drones, we don't know how many drones are functional. So let's say you have 10 drones and maybe only 3 are wired into the system where citizens can go and tap in and see the activity of these drones, these 3 drones. What about the other 7? What about the other 10? Again, we don't know how many drones they have, at their disposal. But what we do know, or what we should consider, is that with this type of techware, one thing is certain: our privacy will be violated. Our First Amendment rights will be violated. If you have X number amount of drones that are flying, it's not safe to say, or it isn't comforting for them to say, okay, well, you can monitor, these drones. We have a website where you can go see where these drones are flying, but what about if they're offline? On the screen, they're offline. They're saying they're sitting there. However, they could be out and about flying, surveying or doing surveillance on the community. Something to look out for, something really to pay attention to. And again, here we are, where the police department or our local city government is allowing certain tactics to be used in the cities. Now, we know, and most of us should know, that most drones we come to know that most drones now that really are effective are used in warfare and surveillance. Mainly, the United States has some of the best drones in the world. Russia and Ukraine have some of the best weaponry in terms of drones in the world. Iran makes some of the best weaponized drones in the world. Now we have our police department with drones, or not only that, but drones maybe and possibly with the capacity to be armed. Something to think about.
With. Now, these drones can provide real-time video to law enforcement officers on the ground and can be controlled, as you see here, through a central command center. Of course, there are a lot of privacy concerns with something like this. So the LAPD has actually set up a website where you can track every time they're using the drone, what for, and where it has been. The LAPD says they'll only do this in cases of 911 calls. This is not a program where they'll just fly drones randomly throughout the city.
Don't trust that. Trust nothing the LAPD says. And again, so they have this program set up where a citizen can call in, and when they do, they can tap into this screen or this app or whatever, and it'll show them where any particular drone may be flying. Again, what is the number of drones they have? All right. So again, they can have 3 drones flying and online, as far as we know. What about, let's say if they had 10, they got 3 flying online, we can track them. What about the other 7? How do we monitor, or how do we know those drones aren't operational up in the sky and conducting surveillance on the people? I think it's a slippery slope. to say the least, about this new this drone fleet that they're putting out into the community. I don't see where there's any oversight or any way for us, the citizen, to really monitor when these drones leave the docking stations. How do we know that all these drones aren't flying at once? And how can we be sure that they're showing us every drone that's in the air in real time that can be tracked or traced? Slippery slope.
I want to pull it up here because I can show you some examples of exactly when they're using. You can see here it launched from police headquarters and came down here by the 10 freeway. We'll click on another one and it'll take you over here where they used it and flew almost to the same area. You can go all through these and you can filter it by date, by time, on all of these different things and see exactly what the department is using these drones for and where. And of course, the more we click on, the more results that we will start to get on the screen. But it's this interactive map that provides information for all over the city and helps people better understand what these drones are being used for. So if this is something that you want to see and want to know what the LAPD is using the drones for, we've got a link to this website specifically on our website, cbsla.com.
Okay. So again, that's something I think that we need to be very mindful of. Okay, so the LA is now about to initiate a new drone program in the city. They're saying that they're only going to use this program, this use of this drone fleet with 911 calls. Also heard him say here, he reported that also they'll go to certain emergency calls, get there first before the police, to monitor the area to ensure police safety. Already this thing is going to escalate and it's going to get out of hand. Drones will be monitoring and harassing, surveilling people without their consent, disrupting just normal everyday lives for citizens who go about their lives normally. This is Big Brother in full effect, if you ask me. 1984 is in full effect. We are in a police state, my opinion, just based upon what we're seeing. Our police department is already militarized, paramilitary gear, weaponry, the whole thing. Now they have at their disposal drones, not just drones that can surveil what's going on in these communities, but also, I contend, drones that can be harnessed with weapons if they so choose to do that. Something to think about, people. Something to think about. All right, that being said, this is All Things Politics. Take care of yourselves and each other.